murder of 11-year-old Gannon Stauch. Investigators believe Gannon was killed in his Colorado Springs home the same day he was reported missing. The arrest affidavit for his stepmom and accused murderer, Tecia Stauch, was leaked on social media last night. El Paso County Sheriff's Office confirms that document is authentic. Investigators believe Gannon was killed in his bedroom on January 27th. Stauch told police Gannon was meeting a friend and never came back home. Investigators say they found Gannon's blood in his bedroom, on the floor, the walls, even his mattress, as well as in one of Stauch's cars. Investigators believe Gannon's body was dumped a day later in southern Douglas County off Highway 105 and South Perry Park Road, that's near Palmer Lake. The area was thoroughly searched by hundreds of volunteers, and documents say blood was found on a particle board February 15th. DNA tests confirm it was Gannon's. Stauch was arrested March 2nd in South Carolina, and Gannon's remains were found March 18th in a suitcase beneath an overpass in Florida, but those documents don't explain how his body was moved from Colorado to Florida. Stauch is facing multiple charges, including first-degree murder, child abuse resulting in death, also tampering with evidence.
What's up, everybody? Oh man, I gotta position my thing real quick here. Hold on here. All right, that girl, Sarah Finn, Susie Pops, Copper Star Misery, Sarah Finn again. Cray. What's up, Brooks Channel? Angie Clark. Yeah, Angie Clark, I agree with you. This is real bad. This is real bad. So what's up, Wicked Witch? And thank you for your help today. I appreciate that. So I'm hold on. I don't even know where to start. So anybody following this case knows that that the arrest affidavit, which was sealed, apparently leaked. Not apparently, it obviously leaked onto social media, and this is an issue. We're going to talk about a little bit of the things on there, but I'm not sure really how I feel about going into too many details. So if you're looking for the gory stuff, and you know, I don't. It's not something that I think is necessary in order to discuss this case, at least at the moment. Not yet. Tecia Stauch still has to stand trial, people. This is a very, very, very important thing. This is much more important than those of us having something to talk about. And a lot of you, whoever's following this case, by now you've read it because you're dying to know what's going on with the case. And I get it. I mean, I read it, you know, it's out there. This case is it really hit home with me. I out of all the victims that I've discussed regarding true crime cases, any of the cases that I followed, out of all the victims, I identified with Gannon the most for very personal reasons. So yeah, this was a hard one. I lost friends in the process of this case being covered and talked about, and the process of it unfolding the way that it has been. So it's been a tough one. And so the thing is, you know, I want everybody to keep in mind, because again, I read this. I read this thing. Um, well, most of it anyway. There's a lot of the technical stuff that I didn't really go over yet. I'm gonna like really go over it and read it very carefully. But certain details that I really needed to know, that me personally, that I really wanted to know and needed to know, uh, I got that. But it's and you know, Susie Pops, I don't blame you at all, because I'm going to be honest with you, it was really difficult to read. Um, it was very difficult to read. I had a real hard time getting through some of the details. But the thing is I want you guys to keep something in mind here. I've been very critical, and I still am. I've been very critical about uh, this case, and how it's being talked about on social media. Um, and it's like that with any case, you know. It's just like that with any case. We can't wait to hate this woman. We can't wait for more information uh, to fuel our hatred for Tecia Stauch. Um, and see, I understand that. I have the same feelings about her that everyone else does. I do. I really do. Um, and I don't even like saying that, but it's the truth. It's the truth. This woman, and I've been saying it ever since I started talking about this case on this channel. I've been saying it. Uh, you know, I believe in due process. I believe very much in due process. I believe in our judicial system, and I believe in a person's right to a fair trial. And right now, the way things are right now, man, I am holding my personal freedoms and rights very dear to my heart at the moment. I am not taking any of them for granted, considering the circumstances that we're all dealing with right now. So I want to be very clear that I don't. It's very important to me that this woman gets a fair trial, but it's also important to me that, as much as it is to anyone else, that this woman gets convicted and pays for her crimes if she turns out to be guilty. And I do. We all have our personal beliefs. Do I personally believe that she's guilty? Sure. I think we all do. It's pretty obvious, you know. But what really angers me, what really truly angers me, is the fact that this thing leaked. I mean, this now. I'm not mad at anybody on social media for leaking it. Everybody's doing what they're naturally going to do. Anybody following this case, and anybody who wants to know and needs to know, if he has that need to understand why this would happen to such a sweet young boy, we're going to read anything that comes out on it. It's just going to happen, right? But somebody working that case, whether it be in the courthouse, whether it be uh, El Paso County sheriffs, somebody leaked it. Somebody leaked it. How do you know the family leaked it, sweet crazy? And it's a good possibility that it was leaked on purpose. So I mean, I I don't know who leaked it. I know that I've been in contact with Critical K, and she's trying to find that out right now. And yes, Wicked Witch, you're absolutely 150% correct on that. The point that I was getting at is the reason why I'm upset that this leaked is because those of us who believe Tecia Stauch to be guilty of this crime and want justice, well, the more people go over the details of this case, the more we talk about it on social media, the more we discuss it here on YouTube, the details that is, it's potentially helping her case. And this isn't a good thing, guys. You know, it's got to get to a point where we know where we have to suppress our thirst for gory details, and we have to understand the difference between finding things like this entertaining and actually seeing it as a problem on this planet that needs to be somehow at least understood, if not resolved. If we want justice, we have to have more control over our own personal needs, guys. We have to have more control over it. You know, and like I said, man, I'm just as guilty of it as anybody else. I'm just as guilty of it as anybody else. You know, I have to know if it's put out there, I'm gonna read it. You know, it just is what it is. Okay, so let's see here. The document is up on the EP court website with a judge's order to release on April 3rd. This was not a leak. Okay, so that's different. If that's the case, then it is what it is. If that's the case, then hey, we're free to talk about things as freely as we want. Whatever's in that affidavit is up for grabs as far as things to talk about openly. But at the same time, what it does, it's still, whether or not a judge leaked it, whether or not somebody or not a judge leaked it, but a judge ordered its release and unsealed it, or whether or not it was leaked, whatever the case may be, the fact of the matter is now it's out there. Now it's out there, and here we are talking about it. And other true crime channels, I'm not a true crime channel, but other true crime channels are going to talk about this. They're going to go over all the details. Right now, they're gearing up for it. Right now, these other true crime channels, they're getting everything together, and they're putting together key points of what they're going to talk about, and they're gonna gear up to, because they know that they've got an audience full of Tecia Stauch haters. You know, they got their lynch mob ready. They got their lynch mob of subscribers, and that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen is they're going to go over everything and fire everybody up, and everybody's going to have their virtual pitchforks and say, burn her alive. She's awful. How dare she do these things, and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, absolutely. That's everybody has a right to feel that way. But what people aren't realizing is it's making more of a case for her defense. Her defense is already worried about her being able to get a fair trial. And, what's funny is everybody is shooting themselves in the foot for different reasons. If you if she doesn't get a fair trial, there's the risk of the case being dismissed. But chances are that won't happen. There's if based on this David, there is a shit ton of evidence against this woman. I mean, they got an airtight case, it looks like. But that doesn't mean that we don't know if she's going to have a good lawyer. We don't know how experienced that lawyer is. We don't know how ruthless this lawyer is. And we don't know what this lawyer is going to do and what kind of tricks they're going to pull to get her off. So now we've got this situation where here you are and everybody wants justice, but by trying her in the media and trying her in social media and judging her and convicting her, it's going to contribute to their argument that she's not getting a fair trial. Right? Now, chances are what'll happen is probably, worst case scenario, it'll probably just it'll be a bench trial. Worst case scenario, depending on how crazy the media gets. But there's a lot of people out there that aren't following this case. But I find it'll be rather difficult to still get 12 people together in Colorado who haven't heard of this case. I mean, with the amount of people that they had out there searching for Gannon, people with their blue lights on. I mean, so it's going to be really, really difficult to get 12 people who have never heard of this case sitting in there, sitting in a jury pool so she could get a fair trial, because everybody's already convicted her. So, and the other way that this again, people who want justice shooting themselves in the foot. For those of you who have convinced yourselves that you're seeking justice, but you're really just in it for the show. Yeah, I'm talking to you. Those of you who sit there and go, "Oh, this is horrible. This is horrible," but you're the same Chris Watts people who were dying for a trial, and then social media just went to war. Social media went to war when he pleaded out. And when he pleaded out, everybody was just pissed off at the fact that they didn't get to see a trial. Everybody wanted Casey Anthony all over again. Everybody wanted OJ all over again. You wanted that entertainment. You wanted that fix. Well, guess what? This trial's not going to be tried in the media. And if it's a bench trial, shit, you're not going to hear anything. You're not going to hear anything except a verdict when it happens. That's going to be it. So now, because everybody who says they wanted justice, well, if all you want is justice, Brooks Channel, if all you want is justice, well, hopefully the rest of us didn't fuck that up. Because the only chance this woman really has right now, and honestly, there's also the affidavit. The affidavit itself, I mean, it's personal. You could tell. And it's I'm going to be honest with you. I not only until I saw the signature and the name at the end of the affidavit, the entire time I'm reading and I'm going, this was written by a woman and most likely a mother, because there were little passive aggressive jabs at Tecia in a legal document. In a legal document, there were passive aggressive little jabs about this woman. That can't be good. That can't be good. I don't see how that's going to help their case. Now, this person, she listed a whole lot of evidence. She listed a whole lot of evidence, right? In detail, sure. But she listed a whole lot of opinions too. Whole shit ton of opinions. Now, I've read some affidavits before. Now, Megan Faramuska's affidavit, her affidavit, I thought was very, very professionally written. I thought it was very, very detailed. I don't think they missed anything in there. This one, I don't think they missed anything, but there was a bunch of shit in there that didn't really need to be in there. Not to my opinion. You know, I didn't. I was like, well, why? I don't need to hear that. You know, I don't need to know how you feel. I don't need to know what your opinion is. I want to know the facts. I want to know how they are going to lock this woman up and throw away the key. So, I don't know, man. Yeah, well, 89, I just said that I wasn't going to go over the details of this affidavit. And I know that you're new here and you're welcome in my chat. You're fine. But I'm not here to debate. I'm here to tell you how I feel personally about this affidavit. Yeah, and on and on. I absolutely agree with you because, you know, thank goodness that Gannon was actually found, because there's a lot of, you know, I mean, a decent lawyer, man, a decent lawyer could, you know, could rip this case to shreds possibly without a body. You know, I mean, it could happen. Um, and thank God they found his body because, you know, that provides more evidence. And on top of that, most importantly, that his family gets to send him off properly, based on whatever their beliefs are. So they get to give him proper burial, or however they choose to send him off, uh, based on their beliefs. So I'm thankful for that. I'm very, very grateful for that. Um, and yes, and that they have closure, Copper Star, absolutely. And it's really funny because the prosecution fears this. The prosecution fears this. You can tell by the way that they've conducted themselves. You can tell by the way that law enforcement has conducted themselves publicly when giving press conferences, when giving interviews, when giving statements publicly. I'm not going to discuss that. I'm not going to discuss that. I'm not going to discuss that. This is an ongoing investigation. I'm not going to discuss that. You hear that a lot. And I like when I hear that. I like when I hear that. I can wait. I can wait for a discovery. I can wait for a verdict before I get all the details. I can wait. I prefer not to, but I can wait. You know, if it means bringing justice to this family, for this family, then I'm all for it. And I don't, you know, yeah, I don't, I'm not with the nicknames. You know, again, guys, this is a woman who again, she has yet to stand trial. And I will say it. You know, I've said from the beginning that this woman is absolutely guilty of being an asshole. I totally stand by that. I do not like this person, but she still has a right to a fair trial. She is still innocent until proven guilty, whether you like it or not. That's the way this country works, and that's what makes this country great. So I'm I'm a big fan of due process. It's really crazy because I started watching, everybody's talking about Tiger King. I watched that. It was crazy. But the documentary that's also on Netflix that nobody's talking about right now, I think it's called How to Fix a Drug Scandal. Um, I'm almost positive that's the exact title. How to Fix a Drug Scandal. And this is absolutely crazy because it kind of goes into what I'm talking about here. You have the state of Massachusetts, and there are two laboratories in the state of Massachusetts that test narcotics when a person is arrested and those narcotics are seized. And when those narcotics are seized, they go to one of these two laboratories. Now, one of these laboratories, the the person testing the narcotics was stealing the narcotics, using them at work, right? And replacing the narcotics with fake ones and saying, "Oh, these aren't real." Right? So here you have people with real drug offenses going free, right? Uh, and then you have the other laboratory where this person was simply just saying it's all real without even testing it. So who knows how many people are wrongfully convicted of a drug charge, of a nonviolent crime and a drug charge, and locked in prison. So this is why, in order to get justice, these things, these little details that involve due process, that due process involves, right? These little things, they all matter. These little things are very, very, very important. It's very, very important that everyone does their job and everybody does their job properly. And I loved the prosecutor. I loved when the prosecutor made the press conference where he said he was adding on charges to Tecia. Um, One of the very first things that he said was, "I am not going to try this case in the media." I love that. I mean, you can't stop the rest of us from talking about it. You know what I'm saying? We're all going to talk about it. It's going to happen, you know? And they can only control it so much. We have the right to talk about it. It doesn't necessarily make it the best thing to do, but we have the right to discuss these things. So, and we have the right to discuss these things on social media, and we even have the right to spread false information on social media. Doesn't mean you should do it, right? So, as far as I'm concerned, man, this case is still very, very open. I would love to sit here and discuss my feelings on these things that the El Paso County Sheriff's Department discovered. I would love to discuss these things, but morally, I can't really bring myself to do it. At least not yet. Maybe I'll think about it a little more and I'll find some reason to do it. I don't know, but right now, it just doesn't feel right. It just doesn't feel right. I don't want to hinder this case. I don't want to contribute to hindering this case. I really, really want to see justice served here because I do believe her to be guilty. I do. But you never know. And I sure as shit don't want to see her walk off on a technicality. We saw that shit happen with Casey Anthony. We saw that happen with OJ. I don't want to see that happen here. This kid I mean, him being killed, him being hurt, man, it really, really broke my heart. It hurt real bad. I genuinely held hope that he was alive somewhere. I mean, it wasn't too far fetched. It wasn't too hard to believe that Tecia Stauch was the kind of woman that would have tried some elaborate crazy thing and had him kidnapped by somebody and held him alive just to get some sort of crazy attention, because the evidence shows that she's the kind of person that would just make shit up just to make it up. She would do crazy things. She's capable of doing these crazy things. So, I genuinely held hope that he was still alive. So when I found out that she was charged with murder, of course, I assumed that the police had enough evidence to assume that he's dead. And especially with the charges that were put on her, child abuse, it's, I don't know, man. It just, it really stung. It really stung to find that out. I even had to search my own spirituality, for lack of a better term, on what I could do. I wanted to do something. I wanted to connect with this kid somehow. And my something inside me just said to fast for 24 hours. So I did that, and I'm really glad that I did, because it allowed me to have a particular clarity as far as looking at this case. It allowed me to have that clarity. It's hard to describe, but I'm really glad that I did. But this for me has always been and is not going to stop being about Gannon. I know Gannon's gone, but I'm of the opinion that the amount of suffering that he endured, his spirit needs justice. Wherever he is right now, I do not believe that he is resting peacefully until he gets justice for what happened to him. Because, I'm of the opinion, I do believe, I understand. It's a better way to put it. I understand. I'm a realist. I get that the world is a shitty, fucked up place, and I get that things are unfair. But I refuse to believe that beyond this world, you don't get that justice that you didn't get here. I just refuse to believe that. So I choose to believe that wherever Gannon is right now, he needs justice. His spirit needs it. And I want to make sure that I can do my part. If I have a YouTube channel here, then I'm going to speak my mind on these things. I'm not here to get subscribers. I'm not here to, as far as this case goes anyway, I'm not talking about this case to get more subscribers. I'm not talking about this case to get more views. I'm not talking about this case to get money. I personally felt connected. I personally feel, present tense, connected with Gannon in some spiritual manner. And I'm not one of those guys, I'm not going to listen to psychics and, people who claim to speak to them. And, and it's funny. I was in Kay's chat, the last chat that she did. And, you got people just acting a fool. You got the Gannon equivalent of shiners now. And if you follow the Chris Watts case, you know what I mean by a shiner. And that's just fucking weird behavior, man. You know, people who didn't even know Gannon are getting tattoos. They're getting little blue ribbons and tattoos. You know, they're getting. Yeah, I'm not even gonna wear a T-shirt that says "Justice for Gannon" because what the fuck good does that do? What good does that do? It doesn't do them any. It doesn't do the family any good. You know, I mean, I get that the family is going to be kind and they're going to say, hey, you know, we really appreciate all the thoughts and prayers and all the awareness. Sure. But that doesn't really do anything for them. Not necessarily. Not really. So, you know, I think talking about it and trying to raise awareness for things like child abuse, that's helpful. Absolutely helpful. That's fine. But a fucking ribbon doesn't do jack shit. And damn sure a tattoo doesn't do anything but make you look like a weirdo. You know, I mean, everybody's sure, you know, you might sit there and go, well, everybody has their reasons for getting tattoos. Tattoos are very personal, very personal. Okay, yeah. But if you have a personal reason for getting a tattoo of a murdered kid who you've never met in your life and you don't know anything about, you know, that says something about your personality. That says something about you. There's something wrong, you know? I mean, it might be harmless, but there's still something fucking wrong there, dude. You know, I mean, come on. But all I know is, you know, I mean, like I said, I did my own personal thing where I felt like I needed to do something to connect with Gannon in a way. And I did that, you know, I did that. And some might even think that was overboard. You know, some might even think that was a little too much, but at the same time, you know, like I said, it was my own personal reasons. But the thing is these people who are true crime enthusiasts, you know, that are getting a tattoo of Gannon, you know, in a year they're gonna fucking regret it because in a year they're not gonna give a shit. In a year, nobody's going to fucking care because at the end of the day, to 90% of you people out there, this is just entertainment. True crime is a genre. It's a genre. Like rock and roll is to music. It's just a form of entertainment for you. You talk about one case, and then another case takes place. You forget all about that case, and then you start talking about that case. You won't stop talking about that case. You can't stop talking about that case, right? So as soon as that case is over, you move on to the next, and so on and so forth, right? And then the only purpose that the prior cases serve is in little chats where you get to say that you know about that case because you followed it. All while forgetting the fact that there are real people affected by this case. There are real people affected by this case. Every single case that you're talking about. That's why it's called true crime, people. That's why it's called true crime. Because crimes were committed. And there's no such thing as a crime that takes place without a victim. And so when you don't seem to really have much care for justice for that victim, and you're more concerned of how much you know about that case and how good you look talking about that case, and you've got a YouTube channel spinning a whole narrative of Tecia is guilty before you even know anything, so that you can say you were right, so that you could say, oh, well, my channel knew We knew it first here. Remember? We said that. Yeah, we said that. We said that. Yeah, remember? I told you. I told you. A bunch of that bullshit. You know? And it's in the meantime, you know, if somebody who's affected by these actions directly just wants to take a minute to breathe, man. If they just want to take a minute to breathe, they can't. They can't. No matter where they go, they're going to hear about it. No matter where they go, somebody's going to look at them and go, hey, that's the person involved in this case somehow. Sorry, I'm just looking over chat here, guys. Now, I promise you, yeah, I promise you I'm going to discuss, the details of this case when the time I think is right. Um, I'm going to do that. I'm going to discuss the details that I find because I got a lot of opinions, just like everybody else. I got a lot of opinions on what's happening. Uh, what these police discovered, man. But again, what concerns me, that my biggest concern, uh, is the lack of professionalism in writing that affidavit. Uh, it's I mean, this person is way too opinionated. Um, and I mean, it sounds like they're trying to sway a jury before it even gets to a jury. Like you can't do that, man. You know, like, and the fact that the prosecution even was like, "Yeah, this is good. Let's turn that in." I would have been like, "You better get somebody else to write this shit." Yeah, man. There's a whole lot of, hey, that girl, be safe. Um, yeah, I mean, there was just, yeah, it was, that affidavit has the air of uh of me versus Letitia. You know what I'm saying? It was personal, man. It was personal. And you can't have that, man. You can't have that. It has a personal air to it. Um, hopefully, hopefully that's something that was probably dismissed and is probably not officially going to be used. And yeah, um, like in the news clip that I played in the opening here, um, in the news clip that it was that I played in the opening here, uh, they pointed out that they pointed out that well, again, Sonny Winters. Um, I'm not going to go over that. I'm not going to go over the details of the affidavit just yet. Um, I will. I promise. I will. I will. I'm just, right now I'm just kind of struggling with whether or not I should. Um, but you know, Yeah. So, yeah, I'm struggling with whether or not I should, but the thing is, uh, I mean, eh, yeah, I'm gonna go over that stuff when I do, at some point, but I mean, read it, read it. How can you not? You know what I'm saying? How can you not? Uh, See those points. Take that affidavit, compare it to Megan Faramuskas. Just do that. You'll see. You'll see what I'm talking about. And you're right. She does go over all of this. She's very thorough when it comes to the evidence that they've collected. The warrants that they obtained. Uh, I mean, they were really diligent in building a tight case. I'm only criticizing the manner in which the affidavit was written, uh, the vibe that I can't seem to escape from. I mean, if I can tell, if I can kind of make speculations as to characteristics of the person writing the affidavit, then there's personal shit there. That there's a personal air to it. If it was totally professional, I would have looked at it as it was written by a police officer, point blank, period, and that's it. I'm going, this is a woman and probably a mother, uh, and she's mad. She does not like Letitia, you know, and that's okay. Nobody's gonna like Letitia. Nobody likes Letitia, you know. I mean, whether or not she's guilty of murder, uh, she's definitely guilty of being an asshole. There's absolutely no doubt about that. The way this person has conducted herself on social media, television interviews, there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that this is the kind of person that just plain sucks. I can't stand being around. I wouldn't be able to stand being around, sure, but I'm not ready to convict her of murder before she has a fair shot, you know, in a courtroom. I'm just not going to do that. I think it's irresponsible to do that. There's a reason why the prosecution is telling you, hey, uh, careful, careful what you say out there. So, I mean, it's a it's a tricky situation, guys. I mean, either you want to be entertained or you want justice. You know? Yeah, I think I have. Let me see what I'm gonna do here. Okay. Bada boom. So, yeah, sorry. I was just taking care of a little distraction. Apologize for that. Um, no, I've been eating okay, Angelina. Well, no, I mean, I've been eating whatever I can get my hands on, which is not healthy, and I can't work out. So I've gained like probably close to like 10 pounds, you know, which kind of sucks. Hey, what's up, Doodlebug? But so you know, yeah, and yeah. So I will say there are other channels. Brooks channel, there you go. There are other channels where you can find that shit show. There are other channels where joining a Tecia Stauch lynch mob, virtual lynch mob, will oblige you. But that's not going to happen here. So I do apologize if I am unable to oblige you. So it's just, that's not what I do here. It's not what I do here. And if I do, it's because you fucking deserved it. I don't get me wrong, man. I will drag you through the shit if I feel like you totally deserve it. But at the same time, you know, and do I think Tecia deserves it? Maybe. But my point is that it is strategically illogical at the moment to do so. She still has yet to stand trial. Now, hopefully she pleads out. See, that's the difference between me and a lot of other people out there that I'm seeing on social media as well. I want her to plead out. I don't want her to have a chance to argue her case. I want her to say, I did it. I'm guilty. That's it. That's what I want, personally. I want her to take responsibility for what she did, say I'm guilty, and that's it. Lock her up, never think about her again. You know, and then there's also always the thing going on social media where they're saying, oh well, and we heard this with Chris Watts too. I hope that she gets murdered in prison, and I hope that a woman who in women's prison there's mothers who won't put up with that, and this is absolutely true. And the thing is it goes against my character as much as I am so angry as to what happened to Gannon. As angry as I am about that, I'm not going to compromise my own moral fabric. I'm not going to compromise that by wishing horrible things to happen to this person. What I want is justice. What I want is for her to answer for her crimes. Now, don't get me wrong. However, now here's the thing: is the world, man, it spins in a certain direction, and certain things just kind of spin with it, and that's the way it goes. I don't try to worry about those things. I don't try to change those things. It is what it is. You get stuck in a prison with bad people or good people who did bad things, and they don't have anything left to lose. Shit may happen to you. You shouldn't have fucked up. Those are the risks that take place when you go to prison. And so don't do shit that's going to land you in prison. That's my way of looking at it. That's my perspective on that. So whatever happens to her, so be it. So be it. Justice is justice. But I'm not going to wish particular hateful things on somebody. I'm not going to sit there and talk about how I wish somebody's going to do this to her and do that to her. And no, what I want to see is justice served in our legal system, which right now, like I said, I am holding very, very, very dear to my heart at the moment. I am trying very, very hard, making a conscious effort to absolutely adore my freedoms and rights while I still have them, because those things are in danger at the moment, whether you like it or not, whether you see it or not. People are like, oh, well, it's necessary. These things are necessary in order to not spread a pandemic, blah, blah, blah. And that's possible, okay, fine. Sure. But make no mistake. The only reason that I'm not at work is because the government said that I couldn't go to work. Said that my job could not be open for business. So when you hear people go, oh, the government, it sounds like you're talking paranoid, but is it paranoid when the only reason that everything that's happening right now is because the government said that you can't do it? You can and can't do this or that? Is it paranoid? No. The fact of the matter is, it's the government making these decisions and enforcing them. The only thing is right now you're in a position to where you like it. Now, I don't fucking like it. So I'm holding I'm holding dear to my heart my rights and freedoms right now. And in doing so, realistically, I have to love the fact that even people that I don't like have those rights and freedoms too. And Tecia Stauch is one of those people. Whether we like it or not, guys, Tecia Stauch is one of those people. She deserves a fair trial. She has the right to a fair trial. So, hold on. I'm going, Doodlebug. I'm going. Look, man, I'm not trying to start some debate over what's right or what's wrong when it comes to this. Yeah, look at this bullshit. I'm not trying to start a debate as to what's right or what's wrong, what's necessary, what's unnecessary. I'm not trying to start a debate on that. I'm just telling you how I feel about it. And whether you like it or not, that's the truth. Your freedoms are slowly being stripped from you, whether you like it or not, whether you agree with why or not. The fact remains your freedoms are being slowly stripped from you. You're being suffocated just a little bit more and more and more. That is happening. That is happening. And it's undeniable. So, you sit there and say, don't be dumb. Okay, well, all right. But which one of us is actually being dumb, though? If you're going to throw that out there, right? If you're going to throw that out there, say, don't be dumb. Well, I'm going to throw it right back. Don't be dumb. Don't be blind to what's happening around you. And the truth is, there's nothing you can do about it. There's nothing you can do about it. There's literally nothing that can be done about it. So, yeah, I have very unpopular opinions on this. My friend Colton Harris Moore has very unpopular opinions on this. And we're hopefully talking about that very soon. But I'm not real but we're not here to talk about COVID-19. We're not here to talk about all that stuff right now at the moment. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up at the moment. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. We're going to talk about this stuff while we still have the means to talk about it openly at some point. Yeah, and Hope Addis, like I said, man, and welcome, by the way. It's good to see you. It's like I said, I would prefer that I don't care to see the drama of a trial, because the drama of a trial gives her the opportunity to walk away from this. And I don't really want to see that happen. I honestly don't. I do believe her to be guilty, but I want to see her found guilty in a court of law, whether it be by her own words, or whether it be by a jury finding her guilty and convicting her. But I don't want, it's, man, you know what I'm saying? I watch a football game. I don't even follow football, but I love to watch football, believe it or not. But I don't really follow the players, who's this and who's that. But I love to watch football because I love to see an underdog, come out on top. I love to see a good game. I love to see close score, right? That's entertaining to me. But this is not that, people. This isn't that. This is a person who 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 we want to pay for what she did to an 11-year-old boy, allegedly. That's what we want. So we have to be very, very careful, guys. We have to be very careful. And I know I get the jokes, oh, who fucking made you the YouTube police? Well, go fuck yourself. You've got your opinions, I got mine, so eat a dick. But because I'm not gonna stop you from doing what you're doing. I mean, as long as those super chats are rolling in, and as long as those subscribers keep hitting that bell, you're happy. You're getting what you want. Whether or not you're sabotaging a case or contributing to sabotaging a case, you don't really give a fuck, do you? No. Yeah, so yeah, and it's crazy. It's so funny because and I joined a group and I to hear myself say that out loud, dude, because I just don't fucking join true crime groups. But I went ahead and joined. I drunk joined. That's what that's what I did. I was in Kay's chat and I was drinking wine and I was like, yeah, fuck it. They were like, join Kay's group, join Kay's Gannon group, blah, blah, blah. And so sure enough, I was like, fuck it. So I joined. And I've been dropping my memes and trying to keep it light. But at the same time, man, like now I'm like reminded as to why I don't join groups and I don't like them, because now this thing dropped and now it's just tons and tons of speculation. And it's annoying too, because now that this thing's dropped, like it's in writing, it's an official document, and people are still talking like as if that shit is not in there. And they're just la da da, what if this and what if that? Talking about a burned carpet. Their theories on the burned carpet. It's like there was no fucking burned carpet. There's no burned carpet, dude. And it's annoying because people are talking about how, oh my God, Gannon was raped. There's no rape charge on Tecia. So get that shit out of your fucking head, people. Don't jump to these crazy ass conclusions. That's the kind of shit that fucks all this up. Come on, man. There's no rape charge. They already added charges, and then after his body was found, they added more charges. There's no rape charge. So come on, man. With that shit. Like the kid's already, his soul is already in turmoil. Come on, man. You think that helps? Making up this shit? Why? Because you think it's exciting? Because you get off on more gruesome tragedies? The more tragic, the better for you. Come on, man. It totally is, Susie Pops. totally, totally is. Hey, what's up, Breakfast Club? Yeah, I'm not. I mean, but see, there's nothing wrong with that, man. Like being a Patreon, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being a Patreon for a channel that you support. That's your way of supporting the channel. That's cool. From what I understand, I'm not a Patreon on any channel. That's why I don't have a Patreon. Or maybe if I got, thousands of subscribers or something like that, then maybe I would do that. But I don't. I'm not holding it against anybody to have a Patreon. From what I understand, Patreons get things that the rest of us don't, and that's cool. That's great. I think there's absolutely nothing wrong at all with supporting a channel that you really enjoy and that you like. So yeah, so yeah, it's all good, man. Yeah, it's conspiracy theories, man. I mean, that's the thing is conspiracy theories are dismissed very often, and I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but I um and I'm definitely not a conspiracy theory guy when it comes to 99% of true crime cases. I think it's pretty much I'm a big I'm a big believer in the Occam's razor way of thinking, which is pretty much, the simplest explanation is usually the correct one. And I think honestly, I think personally that's the case here with Tecia Stauch. I think right now that the thing with Tecia Stauch is very simple. It's common knowledge that he was shot, stabbed, and beaten. That's an act of rage. So when you look at motive, you look at the Google searches, which I'm not going to go over yet, but when you look at the Google searches that are in this arrest affidavit, you're seeing a person whose motive was simply just hatred and dislike. Just and her method of killing this poor boy was rage filled, was rage, pure rage. And it was, I believe it to be premeditated. I believe it to be not only premeditated, but planned, just not planned very well. But yeah, my theory as far as this goes, and again, without going over details, but this has been my theory from the beginning, since the arrest was made. My theory has been that she was abusive towards him, and at one point, the abuse went too far for her to be able to cover it up and to be able to lie about it, and so she took it as far as she could possibly take it. And this poor boy paid for it with his life, with his physical and emotional well-being, and then his life. So and that to me is completely and totally unforgivable. And I want to see justice served. But we're not going to serve justice by crucifying this woman in the media. We're not going to do that. We're not going to serve justice by making ominous hateful threats towards her on the internet. We're not going to help that situation. Guys, this is the Galera channel. gratitude, logic, awareness, acceptance, accountability, rationality, empathy, resilience. It's not rational to do that. It's not logical to do that. It's rational to allow due process to do its thing. It's empathetic to try to understand. And I'm not there. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm having a hard time feeling empathy for this woman. That's not where my feelings are. My feelings right now are focused right now on logic and rationality. And logic and rationality to me dictate to not let our irrational instincts on social media to blow this thing up and write hateful comments about this woman. I don't think it's rational to do that, because it can cause a butterfly effect, if you will, of things that could happen in that courtroom. Because I'm not a lawyer and you're not lawyers. Don't forget that. Most of you people listening to this thing, you're not lawyers. So stop acting like you are and like you know something. Because what's going to happen is these lawyers who do know how to do their job, her lawyer who knows how to do their job, is going to take this shit and twist it into her favor. All right, Wicked Witch. Thanks again for everything today. So that's what her lawyer, that's her lawyer's job. So, you know, the way it looks, man, by reading that affidavit, the way that it looks is they got plenty to put her away. They got plenty to put her away. More than enough to put her away. But all it takes is for the prosecution, the state of Colorado, El Paso County, to somehow fuck up. That's what her attorney's waiting for. That's what her attorney's looking for, is for the other team to slip up. And any slip up, she's going to use. Any slip up, she's going to use to their advantage. Let's see what this says here. G Maps, aka Katie, aka Mary Kate. A lot of handles you got there. But yeah, I don't recognize you, but welcome. You say, I respect your empathetic, rational approach, but to be fair, Tecia has been seeking the tone from day one. She dropped that crazy video and said those crazy stories, accused Landon, people got upset. Yeah. We all know all that, man. We all know all that. And I appreciate your comment. Don't get me wrong, but we all know all that already. We already know all that stuff, and we already have these opinions. But the more full these comments go, when it comes time for her attorney, to argue whether or not Tecia is capable of getting a fair trial, when that time comes, the shittier and more hateful these comments go, those are the ones they're going to use to present to a judge and go, look, Your Honor, look at these things that people are saying. She's already being crucified in the media. She's already being crucified on social media. She's already being crucified in the public. She's already being convicted in the eyes of the public, to the point to where they can take something somebody says and twist it into sounding like a threat, and then go, her life is being threatened, Your Honor. And then guess what? Depending on the judge, who knows how that's going to go? So, I mean, yeah. So, man, yeah. Click those click those subscriber, ring that subscriber bell, and you know, join your little lynch mobs. But when she walks, for that reason, I don't want to hear anybody crying about it. And I know that's wishful thinking because I'm going to hear people crying about it. Everybody's going to whine and bitch and go, how could that happen? Oh my God, the justice system is flawed. No, motherfucker, you're flawed. Justice system ain't flawed. These prosecutors tried to tell you, shut the fuck up. Stop. They tried to tell you publicly, stop. You're not helping. Yeah. So when the time comes, you know, now hopefully it's not going to matter. Hopefully it's not going to matter. Like I said, hopefully, you know, she's just, judge is going to be like, I don't give a fuck. This lady's got to go to jail, period. Hopefully. Yeah, I agree with you. And on. I completely agree. Oh, I wasn't talking about me, guys, about ringing the bell. I was talking about those channels, man, those channels that are gonna give you what you want. You know, they're gonna give you that they're gonna give you tigers that Walmart food. That's just gonna happen. Those channels are gonna give you tigers that Walmart food. You're gonna get everything you want, but don't go crying and whining when her defense uses that as a tool to get her to walk. Because they will. They absolutely will. I would. If I was a defense attorney, fuck yeah, I would do that shit. Yeah, that's some crazy shit, the ankle bracelet thing, man. I'm going to talk all about that. I'm going to try to set something up with Colton soon because he's, yeah. See, the thing is me and Colton, we agree on this whole thing. We agree. The difference, though, the reason why I like to have Colton on is because Colton has the data and facts to back it up. He's the one that collects the data and facts. Me, I just go, oh, look at that and look at that. That's not right. And then my wheels start turning, and then I'm like, okay, this is fucked up. But Colton actually like will drop stats and data. So and that's why I like to have him on, because he has a very, very unique way of backing up my theories because he shares the same theories. The only difference is he's a lot smarter than I am, so he actually looks into these things. Yeah, I'm jumping from subject to subject here, Breakfast Club fans. So don't worry about it. But yeah, man. And that's the thing is I like to get facts. I like to get facts. And that's why nobody thought of that shit. I argued and I fought with people, and I called out other YouTubers, and I was like, man, you guys, you can't be fucking creating that narrative. You can't do it. Can't do it. It's bad. It's going to be bad. Now, at the time, I wasn't even thinking about how it would affect the case. At the time, I wasn't even thinking about that. At the time, I was simply thinking about, what if Leticia's actually innocent? You guys don't have anything to go on. She's guilty of being a liar, sure. At the time, she's guilty of being a liar. She's guilty of being an asshole. But you didn't have anything that indicated that she was a murderer. And here you are pretty much calling her a murderer. Here you are getting all these super chats from people who are straight up calling her a murderer, and you're highlighting their little comments, and justifying it to yourself because you're not outright saying it. What you're doing is you're creating this manner of thinking, and guess what? People bite. People are like, yeah, that's it, exactly, that's the ticket, and they jump all over it. But as long as you've got your channel, as long as you've got your views, as long as you've got your subscribers, as long as you got your super chats, doesn't matter, right? Doesn't matter. Anyways, guys, yeah, there's a lot of facts. I mean, again, we got to be careful what we call facts too, Mandy, Texas gal. We got to be careful about that because that's still a human being, a very opinionated human being, mind you, that wrote that affidavit. So, that in itself right now makes it difficult to differentiate fact from opinion. And when you got an opinionated, emotional police officer writing a legal document like that, man, that's not good. That's not good, because it's hard to determine what's fact and what's opinion. If you just put down facts, you can't sit there and be like, in my personal experience, I heard that at least twice. I read that at least twice. In my personal experience, doing this and doing that doesn't do this. In my personal experience, doing that has no place in a fucking legal document, people. That has no place in a legal document. I don't want to read that. I don't give a fuck what you've done in your personal experience. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't give a fuck about what you think. No, I ain't annoyed at you, Angelina ATF. You're all good, baby. You're all good. So, yeah, man. I give a fuck what certain people think, sure, but I don't want to hear that from the person in charge of writing the legal arrest affidavit, the legal document that is the arrest affidavit that is going to be presented to a judge and a jury. Your opinions have no place in that legal document. Agreed. Thank you, Leisha. Agreed. Absolutely agreed. All right, y'all. I'm gonna cut it in a second. Let me see if I get a little bit of there's any chat here. Yeah, no, I hear you, Brittany Martin. That happened to me too. Like, that's what happened to me. I when this case first started, it's funny. I had a really good, I had a really, really close friend in the true crime community, and and we got along great. And I would defend her no matter what. I always defended her, depending on what it was that the situation called for, because she never gave me any indication of any reason why not to defend her. And I vouched for her with all of every fiber of my being. I vouched for this person. But it was really funny because I kept warning her. I kept saying, be careful what you're doing with your channel. Be careful what you're doing. Right. And sh- the super chats were coming, and the and the subscribers were coming, and the chat was filled up with like 200 people every time, and she was just falling in love with this, you know. And then when I would call her out on it, then the defense mode was that I was defending Letitia. I'm not defending her. I'm defending her right to a fair trial. Absolutely. I'm absolutely defending her right to a fair trial. I'm absolutely defending her right to due process. Absolutely, 150%. In fact, I would die in defense for anyone's right for that. Absolutely. But at no point did I actually defend her. At no point did I actually defend her. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about now. Kimmy Monster, I'm not sure. I probably was. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, man. And then it's, and then as soon as you prove somebody wrong, they get, oh, I'm personally attacked. You're personally attacking me, and then the fucking tears come and blah, blah, blah. No, man. Like, listen, if you're going to be responsible for a channel that has 200 people in your chat, and you got to have some tough skin. You got to be ready to answer back and defend yourself, not sit there and break down in tears saying, oh, that's not what I'm doing. Why are people accusing me of that? Nah, man, you fucking man up. Just, if you're gonna have a channel where you're gonna flat out accuse somebody of a crime before you even have any evidence, then you better have some tough skin. You better be ready to take some criticism. I could take criticism. I get criticism all the time. I'm fine with it. And that's the idea, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, you can't sit there and whine about being personally attacked just because somebody has an opinion and criticizes the manner in which you do something. This is a YouTube channel that I have here, folks. People criticize me all the time. I lose subscribers all the time. Happens all the time, But I'm gonna say whatever's on my mind, plain and simple. I'm gonna use this channel for what it's for, and I'm gonna say what's on my mind. But I'm also gonna take the criticism that comes with it, and I'm not gonna whine about it. I'm not gonna cry about it. Yeah, well, so guys, all right. It was really, really nice hanging out with you guys again today. I'm sure I'll be on again at some point this weekend. And I'm looking forward to seeing what Critical K is going to be doing with this case and what she does with this information. And hopefully, I'm supposed to be doing some collaboration with Mr. John Crimes, but it's completely up to him. I'm always available. He's the busy one. He's got videos to edit, and he's got a job, and he's got kids. He's a dad, and he's got a lot going on. So I just kind of gotta wait on him, so I don't make like announcements when it comes to when it comes to stuff that we're gonna do. But him and I, we've been tossing around the idea of doing a little collab, hopefully on his channel, I think. But John Crimes, let me tell you guys though, John Crimes is back. If you guys were looking at John Hinged and that sort of thing, and which is always fun to watch. But if you guys were missing John Crimes doing his thing, John Crimes is back, and he's been dropping videos. He's been making videos, been editing videos. He's been dropping videos. So make sure you subscribe to his channel and check him out if you haven't already. I really enjoy his approach on things. So I'm looking forward to discussing on a live. I have many personal conversations with the guy regarding certain cases, but I really enjoy his perspective, and we get to share those things personally. So do yourselves a favor. If you're not subscribed to John Crimes, go ahead and do that, because he's still the same. He's still the same true crime sleuth that he always was. Very, 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 very interesting opinions and perspectives. So and if you guys watch Tiger King, he recently did a live stream about the Tiger King, and had somebody who actually worked at that at Joe Exotic's zoo there, and she had some pretty interesting information. So anyways, guys, I'm gonna call it, and we will do this again very soon, my friends. Take care of yourselves, be safe, and stay 6 feet apart from each other.